Rosalyn, you shared with us a wonderful picture of you and your sister as bridesmaids at your Aunt Jackie's wedding. And would you like to tell us a little bit about when you look at the picture now, what are the memories for you?
Well, when I look at the picture now, I'm actually like, I just wished I was kind of a bit more relaxed and confident. But the thing was, you know, I think, I thought I was 14, so maybe I wasn't then. Mum's saying 86, that's 86, I thought it was 84. But all I know is, I remember I was becoming a woman. And that was just not the greatest time to be a bridesmaid. You know, anyway, it had to happen, obviously. And I just remember, being told, right, you're going to be a bridesmaid, your sister's going to be a bridesmaid for Auntie Carol's wedding. And then we went off, and I remember trying on the dress, and, you know, and, yeah, I did kind of feel a little bit princessy, but not kind of like overly, you know, enthralled with the idea, because I was never really a kind of princessy girl, actually, although now, I mean, I'm completely, you know. And I remember specifically going to Holston to get the shoes, and I'm sure it was called, was it design shoes? And they were white. I don't know if they were ballet pumps or they were flat. And I remember going there and picking the shoes and trying them on, and then going back to my aunt's to spend time with, obviously, her husband's like family to be.
Can I just ask, was the dress from Holston as well?
Now this is the thing I can't remember. I think it was, but I don't know where along there would have been I don't know if there was a bridal shop there. You know, might have to ask Nanny or Auntie Jackie. I actually really can't remember. I know the shoes were definitely from, and the shoe shop's still there. The shoe shop's still there, but it's not called Design Shoes. It's something else. But the shoe shop is still there. But it's interesting when you picked up, Chamion, about the Princess Diana, because that wasn't it, in the 80s, that frill and like the puff sleeve. And I even remember I loved wearing, this is where my kind of uncinching, you know, happens. They were little lace, they weren't lace, obviously they were, you know, nylon, but they were knitted nylon. And I think that was the best part bit of I loved, wearing the gloves. And then we had the little floral, you know, basket thing. And there was a hoop in the skirt to obviously bring it out. And so, you know, in my head, I probably did think I was somebody else on the day.
And what about your hair? Do you remember anything about your hair on the day and how it was styled?
I think obviously it was washed and kind of, you know, plaited, because obviously I think, I've got the, you know, the floral headband. But I don't remember there being anything other than kind of, giving it, you know, obviously having a good wash and kind of blow drying and, you know, and moisturising it. And I think it was just plaited. I mean, I don't know if it was.
If we also just thinking about the Princess Diana style of dress, obviously that is something that's really influenced the images that we've seen you in this dress. I think also other wedding images that I've also found in the family. But obviously at that time, it was kind of like Diana fever, wasn't it? Like everyone was obsessed. Absolutely. And it kind of gave everyone that kind of idea that like anyone can be a princess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, and because obviously that style filtered down and she influenced fashion so much that you were starting to see people of colour in these gowns that maybe that we haven't been used to seeing so much until this modern period. So did you feel like that was a kind of defining moment of time in terms of like now, you know, you can see all these gorgeous like photo shoots of these women in these historical style dresses. Do you feel like yourself, do you feel like you contributed to the start of that by being in that dress?
Absolutely. And because remembering at the time, I spent a lot of time with Auntie Jackie, and obviously you'll see Auntie Jackie in the picture, and I mean, she's just just style queen to me, and I think she probably did influence my style of dress, and her own maid of honour dress she was just absolutely stunning in that picture. And that influence, I'm sure, definitely come from when we used to watch. We were totally obsessed with Dynasty and Dallas. And she was so obsessed the fact that my cousin's middle name is actually Carrington. She would have definitely, I remember, would have had some influences in choosing that bridesmaid's dress. Absolutely. And I remember and I wish I'd kept it now. I remember she gave me I think it was called a cow neck blouse, and it was purple, and it had the leopard print all over it, and I think it was actually maybe even kind of like a bit A-line at the bottom. No, not A-line, kind of diagonal, 80s, you know, proper style, 3/4 length sleeves. And I remember she gave me that blouse. It was probably from Top, you know, a Top Shop at the time or something. And I remember wearing it and just, I think I'm wearing it like to a disco or something. And I just was like, my Arnie jacket's so style queen, oh my God. And I remember that top, and it was in that kind of like, it wasn't a cotton. It was very light fabric.
If I could just go back a little bit, because we're going off the bridesmaid dress,
okay,
so I want to
sorry.
focus on that.
Yeah.
I'm just sorry. But like, just going back to my original question though, in terms of, obviously your Aunt Jackie was really instrumental, but I'm kind of more asking about like wider society at that time. And like, did you feel that like you being represented in this historical style dress was at all powerful for a young woman who was going into her life as a mixed race woman? Did you feel like that was like influential to you, that you felt strength in that?
Well, I did for me, because I think that was the start of my kind of fashion, you know, and I followed I mean, literally that dress has, obviously when you look in my portfolio and you will see.
What portfolio is that?
My portfolio from the college, from doing my diploma in fashion and clothing, you will see that the sketches will have that influence in it. Also my other kind of evening gowns that I've drawn, the sketches, and also as well, Miss World was very big at the time, and also there's influences from, it wasn't called Strictly Come Dancing then, it was called Come Dancing, and I remember specifically when my mum used to go out and my nan used to come and stay with us, and I used to watch it with my nan, have my little fizzy pop and whatever it was, and I was just obsessed with the petticoats. I mean, and they just used to twirl around the floor, and I was like, oh
I know that like TV and film as well is really like big for you at that time when you were doing your portfolio.
Absolutely.
I know that you loved like Gone with the Wind and all those things as well. Did you find that when you were, when you were like drawing for your portfolio, did you find that maybe you would go back to those bridesmaid pictures?
Yeah.
And like, maybe that also influenced you as well with your design work?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of time, remember when I was doing my studies and obviously, you know, completing projects and tasks, a lot of it would be done sitting in mum's front room in front of the wooden table with the little fire thing on and watching the black and white musicals, you know, all those films, you know, with all the fancy ladies in the dresses, black and white. I was just complete. I think it was also a form of escapism as well, because there was a lot going on within the family at that time, and I just I did kind of blinker myself off from it all, and I think that's why I really threw myself into, you know, my design from that age.
And just as like a closing question, is there any other like memories or feelings that you have of you in that wedding dress, or like, you know, from that day that maybe are relevant, or
Yeah,
you'd like
I
to
mean,
share?
obviously, as I said, outwardly I wasn't very kind of like confident, but inside, you know, it was just, and I even can remember the feeling of the fabric, you know, and then there was the lace. I remember that detail very clearly, and yeah, the hoop thing. So that kind of almost kind of having the hoop, you know, because obviously that gave you the full skirt, and yeah, I mean, I kind of secretly twirled around in it.
So do you feel like that was like the first time you felt inspired?
Yeah, I think
to
definitely.
Go down that route?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I just think that was where my kind of like, yeah, I'm here for it. I'm just here for this princess kind of like. I don't know how it's gonna happen or whatever. Yeah, no, I really do. Yeah.
Brilliant.